Yo, what's happening, guys? It's your boy Uncle P with another episode of BMF Combat Talk Show. Yes, guys, a lot has been happening in the MMA world, and obviously the most shocking one that happened this weekend, guys. Israel Adesanya. Oh Lord, Israel Adesanya just lost against Sean Strickland. Uh, yeah, man, the one fight that he couldn't have, he should have never lost. He ended up losing. Um, what does this mean? Ah man, can't believe that dude lost. I think it's done. Hey, I think it's done. I think the loss against Pereira took quite a lot out of him. Even though he came back and he ended up winning that fight, the fact that Pereira went all the way to the light heavyweight and ended up winning his first fight, beating the opponent that beat him, it's almost like he can't get away from that. It's almost like that guy always was one above him. And the fact that Pereira wanted to come down and compete against him, it's like Pereira was always the one that was giving him validation for this time. The whole Drika story was quite interesting when it started. It was interesting to see where that would have gone. I think what messed up the Drika story is the fact that Drikas got injured and Drikas couldn't fight. That really, really, really messed up Adesanya's like comeback kind of energy and vibe. Fighting Strickland was one of those things. And Strickland's mouth, you see, the thing is Strickland that was saying was so uncomfortable. Adesanya couldn't even say much. And I think at that moment, Adesanya just wanted to walk in there and hurt the guy. But the one thing that Adesanya knew was that Strickland had a gas tank. And he's not an easy guy to drop. But Adesanya could have dropped Strickland. He could have really dropped Strickland. I mean, I watched the fight, and at any time, Adesanya could have pulled the trigger, but he allowed the rounds to keep going. And there were rounds like the second round, where the second and the third round, where it's like you're not even sure if he took it, and because he was missing so much. Strickland was, constantly moving, bobbing, weaving so much, and you've never seen Adesanya miss so much while fighting somebody. And when Strickland did attack, he really hurt Adesanya. And I think that's where the issue was. Strickland was barely attacking, but when he did attack Adesanya, he did really get his hands onto him. For me personally, that's one of the reasons why I say when Adesanya fights Drikas, he was going to lose that fight versus Drikas. The reason I said he was going to lose that fight is because that's exactly what Drikas was going to fight the same way that Strickland fought, but only with more violence. And Adesanya was going to hope to catch him with the left hook or the right hook, like he did with Pereira, and that was hardly going to happen because as soon as Adesanya was going to open up his hands to strike Drikas, Drikas was going to shoot for that takedown or go into the clinch. Now, what happens in the middleweight division in the UFC now that Adesanya has lost his title? I don't think he's going for an immediate title rematch. If they do that, nobody wants to see that fight again. Adesanya is going to win. If they do that, I'm gonna call a bull on this. Then it's like almost it's what Adesanya is. He has started with a new trick where he loses his title, goes back, beats the guy, wins his title back. Then loses, wins. I don't know what the hell kind of a game that is, but I'm praying that's not what it is. Now, with all that said, this is when I'm sitting with this. So Drikas was next on the line, but the storyline between Drikas and Adesanya was pretty cool. That's the reason why we wanted to see that fight. But now Drikas is the number one. So now Adesanya is the number one contender because Strickland is champion. Or Adesanya is number one. Drikas now drops to number two. I don't know how it works with the ranking. Or Drikas remains number one. So is Drikas still in line now to face Strickland? Honestly, I don't want to see the fight versus Drikas and Strickland. I don't want to see that fight. I honestly do not want to see Drikas versus Strickland because Drikas beats Strickland. I still think Drikas beats Strickland. I honestly do. I honestly believe Drikas beats Strickland. The fight that I really want right now at this moment, Paul Costa is fighting Hamzat. The winner of that fight should go fight Strickland for the title. You know, those guys have big international name. They've got big international influence. If Hamzat becomes champion, it's gonna be hard for any of these guys to take that title away from him. Seeing Drikas versus Hamzat excites me more than seeing Drikas versus Strickland. In fact, I'm gonna go as far as to say is if Drikas fights Strickland for the title, Drikas would have won Drikas would be, how do I put this? Drikas would have gotten the easiest way to the UFC title. Yeah, I just say that. Beating Strickland for me, Drikas beating Strickland just feels like it's easier. It was gonna be a tougher fight versus Adesanya. Yes, I understand he just lost against Strickland. And Drikas beating Strickland might technically seem like he can beat Adesanya. Well, I did say Drikas was gonna beat Adesanya, so but the way now the table is turned, Drikas versus Strickland is just not a fight that I personally want to see. I'd rather have Strickland either fight Paul Costa or Hamzat. Now the middleweight has become so exciting because now you've got everyone that has lost against Adesanya not thinking, damn it, I can beat Strickland. But that's what everybody thought. I can beat Adesanya. So the next couple of months, weeks, is going to be very interesting. Paying attention to the UFC, the middleweight division, to see what exactly is going to happen. I personally hope that Dana White, after the Paul Costa versus Hamzat fight, he either creates a number one contendership versus the winner of Paul Costa versus Hamzat and Drikas, or the winner of Hamzat and Paul Costa faces Strickland for the title, and then Drikas can then fight. I honestly don't want to see Drikas versus Strickland. I don't like. I know I'm gonna get criticized for this, but I don't want to see that fight. I just think that Drikas needs to beat somebody else to become the UFC middleweight champion, and it's not Strickland. Beating Hamzat, beating Paul Costa, beating Adesanya, beating those big. Strickland is not a big name, and dude is now a champion. He beat. No, when I'm saying Strickland is not a big name, I don't mean Strickland is a big name. For those that watch the UFC, they know he's from where he comes back. He's just I can't believe he beat Adesanya. Look, guys, I stopped being an Adesanya supporter for a very long time. His ethics, his ways, and everything else rubbed me the wrong way. But I honestly did not expect him to lose. I honestly did not expect him to lose this fight versus Strickland, and he did. Damn. I've watched the fight like twice. I don't know, guys. Tell me below in the comments, what do you think? Strickland versus Drickers. Do you want to see that fight? And if you do want to see that fight, why do you think that fight makes sense? And do you think it doesn't affect the legacy or the story of Drickers winning the title? How cool would it be for Adesanya to fight Drickers for number one contendership, while Paul Costa and Hamzat fight to face Strickland, and then the winner of Adesanya versus Drickers then faces the new champion or Strickland if he's able to obviously beat his next opponent. I don't know. Tell me what you guys think. Tell me what you guys think. I'm really interested to hear what you guys think. I personally, man, this is crazy. I decided I lost versus Strickland. Damn! After everything Strickland said, that bro should have. Nah, Adesanya's done. For me, I just think Adesanya's done. Losing against Strickland literally takes a lot of points from him. Losing against Pereira was like, wow, the guy beat him in kickboxing twice, came into MMA, whooped the story is crazy. Now they've got a rematch against Strickland. Woo! I'm gonna say, so guys, after recording this, I'm watch the the fight posts, interviews on YouTube and everything. And I really want to do a part two. I want to do a part two. Well, this is my reaction. It's what time is it? It's 10:15. I actually need to hit the gym. Sunday. Man, we all shocked. We all shocked. Strickland is about to be. Man, that boy talks. Yo, Lord, I don't want to hear Strickland talking, man. Guys, I honestly don't want to hear Strickland talking. Now he's champion. So he's the big boy. He's got the cameras on him. All the nonsense he speaks. Oh, maybe Dricus just needs to save us from this. Yo, Dree, are you good? Strickland, you don't look like you're gonna beat up too bad. Maybe you wanna fight again in December. Save us from all this trauma that you're gonna cause. Damn! Strickland is UFC middleweight champion. Lord have mercy. I'm your boy Uncle P, man. Peace.